Have you ever stopped to ponder the significance of international humanitarian law in our world today? How it serves as a beacon of hope amidst the devastation of armed conflicts? A crucial framework that seeks to mitigate the impact of these conflicts on civilians and combatants, fostering a more humane environment even during times of war. International humanitarian law, or the law of armed conflict, is a set of rules and principles that govern the conduct of such conflicts. Its roots can be traced back to ancient civilizations, but its modern form began to take shape in the mid-19th century with the establishment of the Red Cross. The evolution of international humanitarian law gained significant momentum with the adoption of the Geneva Conventions in the year 1864. These conventions laid the foundation for the humane treatment of wounded soldiers on the battlefield. Over the years, additional conventions and protocols expanded the scope of protection to prisoners of war, civilians, and even cultural property. Fast forward to the Hague Conventions of 1899 and 1907, which further codified international humanitarian law, emphasizing the clear distinction between combatants and non-combatants. 4 key principles form the bedrock of international humanitarian law. First, the principle of distinction, which mandates the differentiation between civilians and combatants, as well as civilian objects and military targets. Second, the principle of proportionality, which stipulates that the use of force must be proportionate to the military objective. Third, the principle of precautions in attack, which requires all feasible precautions to be taken to avoid or minimize harm to civilians and civilian objects. Lastly, the principle of protection of the vulnerable, which puts in place special provisions for certain groups, such as children, women, and the elderly. Violations of these principles are not taken lightly. Individuals, military leaders, or even entire states can face legal repercussions for war crimes. These can include prosecution by international tribunals such as the International Criminal Court. The international community may also impose diplomatic and economic sanctions on those found guilty of violating international humanitarian law. In conclusion, international humanitarian law stands as a testament to humanity's collective commitment to lessen the suffering caused by armed conflicts. By upholding the principles of distinction, proportionality, and protection of the vulnerable, the international community strives to ensure that even in the chaos of war, fundamental human rights are respected. Compliance with international humanitarian law is not only a legal obligation, but a moral imperative, reflecting our shared aspiration for a more humane world, even in the darkest times.